Hello, how are you all? How's everyone going out there? Hope you're doing well in YouTube land. This one is going to be about cancer and body image, or body image and cancer. How cancer affects your mental state, and it certainly affected mine when it came to my body image when I was at my worst. So I want to talk about that today. Let's get right into it. Body image. Cancer, when it came to body image, messed with my head for quite a while. At my worst, in terms of weight, I got down to round about 55 kilos. It's an Australian metric. Wherever you live in the world, if you don't operate in kilos, then go on Google, type in the conversion. Before I had cancer, or before it affected my weight anyway, because I probably had cancer before, oh, not probably, I would have had cancer before my diagnosis. I was around about the 85 kilo mark, give or take. Could have gone up to 88, might have dropped to 82, give or take, around about the 85 kilo mark. I wouldn't say I was necessarily a healthy weight. Bit around the middle, bit chubby around here, all of that. But I wasn't necessarily mega unhealthy. I have been a healthy 85. For a while I was going to a personal trainer. I was working out physically, cardio, muscle weight, gain muscle weight. So I was a healthy weight. I've been unhealthy weight, I've been healthy weight. Cancer changed that. Cancer dramatically reduced my weight from, over a course of time, from 85 kilos to about 55 kilos. That's 30 kilos. That's a lot. That's a lot to lose. And that's not a healthy way to lose weight, having cancer. I went from looking a little bit like I look now, because I'm now back up to, touch wood, around about 82, 83 kilos, which I'm happy with. I've kind of started going to the gym again, on and off, trying to turn what's coming back as a little bit of fat, try and turn it back into muscle and get healthy. Go and do some weights at the gym, do some workouts. And I am so thankful to have this weight back on, because what you see before you, I mean, to some people, maybe I don't look that healthy, but I am, compared to where I was, I am bloody healthy. I struggled immensely when I was losing weight and I couldn't control that weight loss. Even before I was first diagnosed, people were saying, "Are you losing weight? You look thinner." I was probably in denial. I had other symptoms. Lymph nodes sticking out. I'm not going to go into that in this video. I was talking about the mental side of it. I was losing weight. And as I lost more weight, I got a diagnosis, got the cancer diagnosis, got the mantle cell lymphoma diagnosis, and the weight was dropping off and I couldn't control it. Didn't matter what I ate, didn't matter what I did, nothing stopped the weight coming off. And like I said, I got down to about 55 kilos. I may have dropped to 52, I'm not sure. I definitely remember being weighed at 57 a few times, and I do remember a 55. If I was a 52, I've probably blanked it out. I went from a 34-inch waist in my jeans down to 30-inch waist, and not a healthy 30-inch waist. I ended up giving all the 34-inch waist ones away to charity shops or op shops or whatever you call them where you live in the world. I had to buy new clothes because of the amount of weight I lost that actually sort of fitted me and tried to hide the fact that I wasn't losing weight. Because the 34-inch waist jeans without a belt wouldn't stay up. They actually literally fell down over my hips. That's how much weight I lost. I don't remember taking photos or having photos taken when I was at my worst with the weight loss, because I couldn't face it. I thought a couple of times about let's do a shot in the mirror. We can do a before and after. I thought I'd do a shot of when I was really skinny. I thought when I get better, I'll do a shot of, where I'm at now and the difference. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I couldn't look in the mirror. I literally couldn't look in the mirror. I had body image issues. I couldn't look at myself being that thin. I remember doing it a couple of times, taking my clothes off and standing looking in that mirror, and all I could see, this thing's here today, not on a fork, all I could see was ribs, a rib cage. It doesn't show now like that, a rib cage. I had nothing on my arms. I mean, now they kind of look normal. There's muscle coming back. There was nothing. Nothing there. My face, was a lot gaunter than what it is now. It was almost skeletal. My colour was a yellowy colour. My legs, there was nothing of them. My stomach was sunken in. And I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I was so upset about the way my body looked. I won't say I was disgusted by it, because I think I still loved it. But I think that was the problem, because I kept telling my body that I loved it. I still love you, body. It really hurt to look at it. And this is what cancer does. It may not be just with body weight. Different cancers affect the body in different ways. Like I've said before, I can only really speak from my experience. And it affects your mental health. It absolutely affects your mental health. And not just with the weight thing, that's what I'm talking about today, but these are the side of things that people don't always realise with cancer. Now, if you've got cancer, whichever one you have, you'll probably know all of this. It may not be a weight thing, but you will know how cancer affects your headspace. And obviously, some people it affects worse than others, and we have different coping mechanisms. Some people cope better than other people. But everyone who has had cancer, I would hazard a guess, at some point it has affected their mental state. So if you've got cancer, you will understand where I'm coming from with this. So this really, what I'm talking about today, well, one, for people who have cancer, you're not alone in feeling stuffed up here. We all are. It's a horrible headspace. And obviously you can be stuffed up here without having cancer, but I'm not doing a generalized mental health thing here. I'm talking specifically about cancer. So if you have mental health issues and you haven't got cancer, well, you will understand the mental health issues just from a different perspective. If you don't feel you have mental health issues and you've never had cancer, and I hope you haven't, then this video is almost directed at you, because before I had cancer, I didn't realize what a head word stuff up, what a head stuff cancer can be. Insert your own word instead of stuff if you want. So for those of you who've never really suffered mentally, and for those of you who've never had cancer, spare a thought for all those people who have suffered from these things. Because cancer, as well as affecting people physically, it affects them emotionally and mentally. It is massive up here. It's a huge thing. And losing that weight that quickly over several months, going from 85, and then I can remember weighing myself in at about 72 or 73 or whatever, and thinking, wow, this is going, where's it going? And then I remember being weighed at about 65. And then I remember 55. I remember being in the hospital on the scales and only weighing 55 kilos. And thinking, I'm disappearing. I couldn't get my head around it. And I remember looking in the mirror once. I was home alone. I remember standing in front of that mirror, looking at my body, ravaged by cancer. I remember bursting into tears, and I just cried. And I cried and I cried because I almost didn't recognize myself. I didn't recognize, to quote the man in the mirror. I didn't recognize that man in the mirror. I was lost. I was depressed. I was scared. And I stopped looking at myself in the mirror. I'd go in the bathroom to brush my teeth. I just wouldn't look. I'd almost be doing this. Toothbrush, get toothpaste, looking down. Imagine this camera's the mirror. I'd just be doing this, doing this, taps, doing this, walking out of the bathroom, then brushing my teeth. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't look at myself. I can now. Now I'm fine again. Now I can look in the mirror. It's easy because of the way I look. I can do it. But I couldn't do it. I got paranoid about my diet. Because of where one of the lymph nodes I had, and I'll explain this in more detail in another video, but basically there was a lymph node here, and often with I've got mantle cell lymphoma, but I think maybe non-hodgkin's lymphomas in general, because obviously it's a lymphoma, lymphatic system. Often they told me they grow out, the lumps come out, and I had one on my elbow that did that another day. That the lump comes out. My one, it was going in, so it was making it harder and harder to swallow tablets, to swallow food. At one point, I couldn't eat rice. I just couldn't eat. I literally would choke on it. I couldn't, because the way it was going in, it made it so hard to eat certain foods. So I'm losing weight. I can't eat properly. That doesn't help. And I just, that mental side, I sunk. And I remember having a conversation with my wife, Danielle, who, as a young person, had an eating disorder. And she told me a lot about the headspace. And we talked about that, and that helped. It brings back memories. It was a very, very weird headspace to be in. I can't quite remember how I pulled myself out of it. I battled and I battled. I ended up going to therapy. That helped. That helped a lot. I would suggest to anybody, if you've got cancer and it's affecting your mental health and you are struggling, find someone to talk to. If you can't find a family member or a friend who you can talk to who is going to actually help, it's not just about sympathy, it's about actual help. If you can't find someone, see a therapist if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, contact the association related to your cancer. See if they can help, see if they can recommend. There is help out there. Sometimes we have to do a bit of research to find it, but get help. However you have to do it, get help and fix this, because that can be a matter of life and death. I struggled with body image, and I'd never struggled with it before. It's a weird thing, and having now struggled with it, not being able to look in the mirror, being so obsessed with the way my body looked, and I was obsessed with it. I can kind of see now, when people talk about eating disorders and people talk about, people go, oh, just eat food, or just do this, or just do that. It's not that easy, because it's up here, and you don't see yourself in the way other people see you. I was looking at that body as an extreme. I was seeing a skeleton, whereas other people were seeing a man who looked really thin at 55 kilos, but I was seeing a more extreme version. I was seeing a more extreme version of myself. And I had to pull myself back from that, because I thought I was going to give up. Because I got to a point where I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't swallow things. I can't eat. I'm losing weight. I can't do this. Until something had to change. And it did change. And I persevered. And through therapy, through Danielle, through just focusing on getting better, I turned the corner. But it was a lot of hard work. So please get help. And when, during my chemotherapy treatment, I started putting on weight again, when I'd gone to the bottom, and then I kind of hovered there, and I think maybe after my second or third round of chemo, as in not consecutive days, but in the cycles, they have cycles, whether you're doing it once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 4 weeks, whatever the cycles are you're on. After so I won't say rounds, I say cycle. I think it's after the second cycle. And then I got weighed and I put on some weight. Hallelujah. I was like, something's working. I'm putting weight on. But that wasn't just down to the chemotherapy. That was down to other areas as well, not just diet. I'm going to have to talk about diet in another one, because I could be here all day. Because I had enzymes that weren't working in my body. I had tests. There were enzymes, so it wouldn't matter what I ate or how much I ate anyway. My body couldn't break stuff down, so I couldn't absorb it. This is all because of the cancer. So all these physical aspects were in play as well. Like my enzymes weren't working, pancreatic enzymes, stomach enzymes, it wasn't working properly. I had a proper full microbiome test. I know it's a catchphrase these days, but there's a lot of truth in it. And that was really stuffed up. So there was a lot going on that even if I could have ate normally, because of the cancer where it was, I couldn't break anything down anyway. So I was stuffed. I couldn't put on weight. So mentally, cancer is a horrible thing. Physically, but also mentally. The mental health side of cancer is massive. And if you haven't been there with that, if you haven't had cancer, if you haven't had mental health, you need to listen to people. You need to put your judgments aside. You need to not think, I've got the answers for this person. If you're not trained or you've never had the experience, you're not going to be able to give them the answers they need. I mean, you might accidentally strike lucky, but If you never had the experience, you're not going to know. You know, you can sit there and talk to your blue in the face. It's not going to help them. But listening, listen to people. Listen to actually what they say. And it's not about people feeling sorry for themselves. It's about them being effed up here because of what is going on with the rest of their body. Listen to them. Help them to get help. Help them to get professional help. You know, advocate for them, because we can't always do it on our own because we're so sick. Advocate for people, help people, look up groups they can find, they can go to. You know, if you're a carer, if you're a family member, if you're a friend, don't ghost them, don't give up on them, actually bloody help them. You go do the research for them. You go find the group they can be in contact with. You make the phone call. You push them in the right direction. Yes, they've got to walk through the door and do the hard work for themselves, but sometimes they need help for someone to open the door for them. Maybe that can be your job. If that's the only thing you do is open a door for that person to get help, you've done something for them. And that's a good thing. There are organisations out there that help with mental health. Help people find them. Help them get help. Help them get better. Because if you can fix the mind, it's a lot easier to fix the body. It goes hand in hand. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that for this one. Thank you for listening again. Hope you're all doing well. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can do this. You can get better. Get help for this. It will help you a lot. Please get help. Every second counts. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later, guys. Big love.